BBC News with the latest headlines. France is added to the UK's quarantine list, along with the Netherlands and Malta from this Saturday. People driving from those countries will have to self-isolate for 14 days.
Travel isn't as reliable as it once was. I'm afraid this virus, particularly when it's not in our hands overseas, is
the channel isn't as reliable as we thought it once was. Same building, the whole channel's not fucking reliable because of a fucking flu virus. What's been replaced with the cold? Is that a fucking piss-take joke or what?
Your questions on the new quarantine rules to travel experts at 9:30.
The immense construction of a channel wasn't built sufficient enough because of a virus. That's what you just said.
Eased in England, with beauticians, theatres and small weddings all getting the go-ahead from this weekend. Anger grows over A-levels as the government faces calls for an urgent review of this year's results.
A lot of children who have worked incredibly hard have been devastated by a system that's been completely flawed.
A system that's been fucking shafted. You think it's by accident, you pupils? Why you've got shit results? All the construction by the government. They don't give a fuck about you. You've been off fucking school for fucking 5 months, is it? Oh no, but they'll soon be penalising fucking parents if you don't send them back. Threatening you with fines.
Good morning. A 2-week quarantine is being imposed on people arriving in the UK from France and 5 other countries which have experienced sharp rises in coronavirus cases. Well, the full list of countries is France, Netherlands, Malta...
I'll repeat myself again. What I keep saying, there has been no rises, has there? We're not brainstorms ourselves, are we? We know it's bullshit.
France at present. The new rules come into force.
There has to be sharp rises to keep up the bogeyman, all in preparation for the vaccine.
With thousands desperate to avoid quarantine.
That's what the mask's all about, the face mask.
Have the capacity to bring everyone home in time.
Get you prepared. Psychological operation.
Devastating blow to the travel industry.
Get your fucking vaccine and then we'll drop the mask.
Caroline Davis reports.
The UK's second.
Have you noticed everyone they film? They've all got masks on.
Saturday become more complicated to visit. France joins the list of countries where any UK
obviously they are, but you know what I mean, when they're interviewing folk and all the rest of it.
As the French Prime Minister himself, Jean Castex,
make sure they've all got masks on for the phony show.
Just a few hours earlier, late yesterday afternoon, yesterday evening, actually early evening, France confirmed that the level had effectively breached those numbers I mentioned earlier. So we acted straight.
You certainly opened my eyes up as well to the amount of people who were willing to bow down for corruption. He's one of them. Because we know it's a fucking scam. It's a hoax.
To Monaco, Malta, the Turks and Caicos Islands, and Aruba. The new measures kick in from 4 a.m. UK time on.
And if all of them are banging on about it being a
14-day quarantine.
14-day quarantine. Oh, we need to do this because of the virus. Well, clearly they're liars, aren't they? So if you're a liar, you're a complete fraud yourself. You're a fucking people sellout.
Since last Friday, for the Netherlands, it was up 52%. France has responded. French Junior European Affairs Minister Clement Beaune tweeted that there will be a reciprocal measure.
Lying to the world.
Measures are anticipated to hurt the tourism industry on both sides of the channel. Those with holidays booked are now weighing up.
I was talking to a guy again last night who came and dropped some car tyres off for somebody.
To get back to the UK.
While I was polishing my car.
In shock about how little time we were given to make alternate arrangements.
And I soon had to cut it short because he was telling me about, oh, my wife's had it yet, and she knows somebody else who's had the coronavirus. You don't know how bad it is until you've got it. Well, no, I'm not having that. End of conversation. No point fucking conversating with a fucking believer as like that.
Pretty much fully booked tomorrow. This is peak season, summer holidays. People are returning on a Friday night to get back home. And so we just haven't got the space to take everybody who might suddenly want to come up to the coast. So what we're saying to people is amend your booking online. Make sure there's space before you travel to the terminal.
Foreign Office hasn't advised UK visitors to leave immediately, but those who wish to avoid 2 weeks of self-isolation on their return now have less than 24 hours to get home.
How disgusting is that? Spring that on people. Everyone's rushing like shit now just to get home to avoid 14-day quarantine.
Eurostar, and our Europe correspondent Gavin Lee is in Havre for us. Let's talk to Ben first. Ben, what is the reaction to this decision?
Yeah, as you'd expect, Geeta, expect planes, trains and ferries to be much
It's all helping, isn't it, to
more expensive as people try to
shaft people and collapse the economy even further. 14-day quarantine for how many hundreds or thousands of people. You're not going to be able to work, half of you, unless you work from home.
Lockdown that they will have to do on their return. And remember, the quarantine rules much stricter, much tougher than those of lockdown. There are very few reasons you are allowed to leave your home.
Much stricter, much tougher.
In that self-imposed 14
Is that what Bill Gates was smiling about when he said, oh, they'll take note of the second time round?
As demand soars, we've seen overnight ticket prices on airlines on the few remaining seats increase significantly.
Tell you something, I watched a video last night what PK put up. A woman talking about how they're murdering people in nursing homes because, you know, and on about whistleblowers need to come forward. It's very sad and shocking and lost for words. With tremendous disgust, isn't it, really? You can't believe this shit's going on. People thought what happened at fucking Auschwitz couldn't happen again. Mass genocidal murder. Think again, it's happening. Murder is underway right now in this country and worldwide. Well, I don't know about other countries, but it likely is, isn't it? But it's certainly in UK. They're murdering people.
Later on today from Paris to London for £100, then very quickly went up to over £400.
They don't want people on this earth no more who were old, frail, burden on society, fat people, people with ailments.
For people travelling back from France to the UK, but if you have a booking, you're set to go on holiday there over the next few days or weeks, it's worth bearing in mind that
I had a phone call yesterday
travel advice. They are advising
of a woman who we know who's about 54. I knew her brother was ill. Been ill for about a year, some kidney infection or something mad. Thought it was through them e-cigs, but it turned out he wasn't through the e-cigs. And I was shocked that I was told that he'd passed away yesterday. He passed away, 49 years old. And even though it was blunt, and I said to it, but she was alright about it, I said, you might not like this, but I can guarantee you, with what's going on at the minute, the system has advanced him in his death. That's what I believe. Anybody who's dying right at the minute, you're being assisted with your death by the system, the government, because of the rollbacks of all the treatments. She agreed and said, yeah.
British travellers can expect anybody travelling from the UK in the next few days.
Because they'd removed certain things that he was supposed to have been getting some treatment and he never got it. So they've assisted in his death, haven't they, really? Is anyone going to be held accountable? All these people need bringing to justice.
The quarantine and the Calais as well, hearing from GetLink, which runs Eurotunnel, saying it will not be easy for British travellers to get back. They are almost in capacity today.
Tell you something, if they rounded up everybody who's part of this corruption, there'll be a lot of people. What about all the TikToking nurses? They're all complicit. Doctors who've kept quiet, these people who've been signing COVID on death certificates, they all need dragging in.
Tunnel from Calais, not sure if A, she'll make it, or B, there's a place reserved for her. So we're starting to hear a few more stories like that today. A lot of people as well here in France saying that, is this arbitrary? Why does it have to be this 24-hour period to make it before 4 o'clock tomorrow morning? Why couldn't it have been Sunday to give people more time? So I think that's that sense of exasperation here we're hearing a little bit.
Give people more time, bang on, but if there's a virus, the time doesn't, well, viruses don't wait for time, do they?
But it's clearly going to cause that extra concern.
Oh, it's just delay it for 24 hours, 48 hours, and then introduce the 14-day quarantine. A virus can wait, can't it?
There has been this sharp rise in cases. 2,500
Listen at you, sharp rise. 2,500 cases. Been a sharp rise. Sharp bullshit fucking rise, yeah.
Starting to open up again after those pretty intense lockdown measures. And Jean Castex, the Prime Minister, saying that they've...
I don't get these people like him who's reading this out. Does he actually believe it himself? I'd like fucking know.
Quarantine in place. There have been other countries saying, let's just put a quarantine...
Or is he a corrupt bastard like the rest?
So it's worse affected, but the UK saying no.
Look at all them walking past mashed up to fuck. Makes you fucking sick, doesn't it?
Okay, well, thanks very much indeed for now, Gavin Lee. That they're at Le Havre. We can speak
Absolute
now to
fucking
Robert
fools.
from the Association of UK Airlines. Robert, your reaction to this fresh announcement? France, in particular, of course, a massive destination.
Yes, absolutely. It's another big blow for UK Airlines. Obviously, we've had an unprecedented year with carriers pretty much grounded since March, and the introduction of travel corridors a couple of months ago was
the only people who aren't going to be affected by the big blow
to restart, and obviously
are gays, because they've been used to that.
Weeks ago, the most popular destination for UK travellers now.
Sorry, just chuck that joke in.
It is a huge amount of pressure during the summer season, which is the time where usually airlines.
Well, I've had my pens.
The bulk of their revenue. So
I've had my pens through.
It's another
permanent markers for doing me writing on my vests for walk around in, brain dead zombies and shit like that, mask wearing idiots.
To the no-go list.
That's what you want.
Airlines don't have to refund, do they? Or do they have to refund?
Permanent markers.
Carriers cancel the flights, as happened over the last.
Apparently, good for fabric as well.
People are entitled to a refund, but what we're seeing is.
And it shouldn't run. We'll have to see.
Are being flexible in terms of booking arrangements and doing everything they can to enable people to defer or to be flexible with their booking. So it's a really challenging time for passengers and carriers, and undoubtedly you'll have airlines who are taking a huge...
Look at that. You think that's no coincidence why they put camera on that fucking marker on floor? 2 metres shit. Keep it drilled in your skulls, folks. Keep it drilled in. Close up of a fucking sticker on floor 2 metres.
Well, I would say
that... Carry on, sorry.
That's what it's all about. Fear, 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 scare, 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 scare. Keep you terrified.
That's happened to me with a change of booking. So,
I ain't fucking terrified. I'm just pissed off what this fucking corruption.
But I think that one of the messages we will get across as the association representing airlines is this is a hugely difficult time, which is why rather than this stop-start situation where people are being forced to have to change their plans wholesale at the last minute, if we can move to something where we have regional travel corridors which recognises that different parts of countries might have spikes but not the whole country. So with Spain and the Canary and Balearic Islands,
France, Netherlands and Malta added 14-day isolation list.
We can get a better testing regime and connect that to track and trace. We need to be more flexible in how we do.
And you think this isn't a global scam when they're all in on it?
People will sympathise with the idea of having that regional approach, so that if you're on a coast or in the countryside somewhere in France but you're not in a city, that you're...
They've all signed up to Agenda 20 and Agenda 30. That's what it is. They've all signed up to it.
If you're in a high
they're in the club
zone but you want to fly out and avoid quarantine, you fly from a low number airport.
Well, I think that there is obviously that is a risk, but we've seen with travel corridors that the principle is there, and really the regional approach.
Took my mind out of this yesterday. I had a pretty nice day, first decent, reasonable day in a while.
We have.
I think it does help folks, doesn't it? If you just come away from this shit sometimes and get your head stuck into things.
Some on the list, some might not be.
Spent a good few hours polishing my car and went to gym.
And we have the means to do it.
Shut off all this shit.
Of course, that doesn't necessarily mean it could apply to every single Greek island where there are hundreds, but for critical
2 hours in gym.
For Germany, Italy, the regional approach is definitely something we need to do to give as much flexibility as we can and stop this stop-start quarantine, which causes so much disruption.
Very, very quickly, there's no chance of airlines putting on quick flights between the UK and any of these quarantined countries to try and get people back before 4 a.m. tomorrow?
It's possible. That would be a question for the carriers. They will do everything they can, but I would just advise people to get in touch with their airlines to see what's possible.
Okay, Robert Griggs from the Association of UK Airlines, thank you very much indeed. Well, do send us whatever questions you'd like answered about the quarantine and how it's going to affect you travelling.
See that logo what just went past? Just like the one on the £20 note, innit?
We're going to be getting your answers from...
There it is, that big grey one then. Just like the one on the 20 quid.
Do use the hashtag BBC Your Questions on social media or visit bbc.co.uk bbc.co.uk/news or the BBC News app. I'm on Twitter too, at Peter Guramuthi. Well, there are changes here in England too on the rules and regulations front on coronavirus, because casinos, beauticians and soft play centres in England are amongst the venues being allowed to reopen from tomorrow.
How long for?
Eases some of the remaining coronavirus restrictions. Indoor theatre, as well as live music and performances, can also resume with socially distanced audiences. But there's a warning of a significant increase in fines for those who break the rules. Our political correspondent.
Oh, fuck off, you fucking fines. Shove your fucking fines up your bastard ass, the lot of you. And you fucking... Tell you something, I love Boris Johnson come knock on this fucking door. Fucking hell I would. I'm sure a lot of us would, won't we?
And the piloting of having
Knock on your fucking door, come in so you can rip. Look at that shit.
Beauty salons will also be allowed to offer treatments like facials and eyebrow threading, although alongside hairdressers, people providing close...
Enjoy running your business for the fucking day, with the threat of getting a fine looming over you in your fucking mind. Brilliant, innit? Stay alert, control the virus, save lives.
Because of concerns about infection rates.
Fucking garbage.
Our assessment is that we should now...
So if you stay alert, how does staying alert control a virus? How does controlling a virus save a life? You know, if there was a true virus, you wouldn't be able to control it. That's bottom line.
Won't apply in areas where local restrictions are in place, including large parts of the north.
I've been alert for years. I haven't been able to control fucking cancer.
Where face coverings in places where they're mandatory could be doubled.
What does that fucking tell you?
Up to £3,200. And there are new on-the-spot fines for those hosting...
Save lives? Fuck me, there's fucking more and more people dying of cancer. What is it now? Fucking 1 in 10? 2 in 10, is it?
Well, our political correspondent Nick Adley is at Westminster for us. Good morning, Nick.
No cure found for it. But they fucking find this fucker for the coronavirus.
That's the indication. So is it safe to have a...
Roll out a fucking vaccine, what you've got the...
That's the question the government...
What was it Gates fucking said?
The argument...
trade-off for it, yeah, trade-off.
Is that a couple of weeks
ago... More the fool those that get the fucking shot.
On the break when it came to easing restrictions in England, it was because the number...
Based on a trade-off, eh?
Up. They now think that although it's higher...
Well, you might end up getting fucked up off it. It could be 2 to 5 years. You could have reactions. You could even drop dead. But that's the trade-off you'll have to take. You know what I mean?
Open some of these things up. So basically, yes, they are arguing.
There'll be so many fucking brain-dead idiots, and you just wish you could save them all, but we can't, can we? You can't knock through to them or try and spread the message like other people are. PK censored. You try and warn people on a daily basis, not to take the vaccine. I'm doing it myself, but
if these places don't start to,
how many will actually listen to you?
Pretty soon and start opening their doors, that quite frankly,
sadly there'll be people in my own family who'll be taking it.
We've seen the government over the last few weeks. I think this is a kind of double consideration. They think that
I've never had a fucking flu shot, and it won't be getting the fucking COVID one neither.
They think that the economic situation is getting worse.
And we did see Chris Whitty, didn't we, say that we're sort of at the limits of how far the government can go. The government keeps stressing that opening schools in 2 or 3 weeks' time in England, or obviously already open in Scotland.
It's getting so bad, isn't it, apparently, this fucking COVID. Spikes and all this fucking shit, quarantines.
Cautious now, as we head.
And yet we've got a date set for fucking roll back the fucking lockdown. People are wearing masks in fucking shops.
The concern that some scientists who are advising the government have,
that's because the mask is another agenda.
You're going to see when schools go back in England, not just because
that's the training tactic.
Maybe some are going back to work as a result.
We'll take your mask off. You want to get the jab.
The same way they have for the last 5 or 6 months. That's going to lead to a lot more
fucking complete idiots, honestly.
A lot more.
You don't have to go and ask anybody, do you, if you're a fucking brain-dead zombie fucking idiot? As soon as you see people in one, you just know they're thick as fuck.
A bit above 1. Now, what we do know is that the Prime Minister has put his...
The controlled can't think for themselves. All rational thinking's long gone.
The virus under control, that he would rather see shops and restaurants and bars closing, local lockdowns than schools. They will only be a kind of last
ditch effort to control the virus if they